Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most technically difficult songs primarily made for/sung by female artists. Number 30, Video Games, Lana Del Rey. It's the song that put her on the map, and for good reason. Video Games sounded unlike anything else released at the time. The slower tempo and dreamy production helped it stand out amongst the standard pop fare.
I heard that you like the bad girls, honey. Is that true?
It may not seem like the most complicated track to learn due to it primarily being in a lower key. However, Del Rey's distinct style makes it much harder to pull off.
Tell you all the time, heaven is a place on earth with you.
She infuses the lyrics with pure emotion, all while carefully riding the line between having a rich and airy tone. This creates a unique sound that's tough to emulate. Without either component, the performance runs the risk of becoming tedious, something she's managed to avoid her entire career.
Only worth living if somebody is loving you.
Number 29, Long, Long Time, Linda Ronstadt. Loving someone who doesn't return your feelings is a pain like no other. Linda Ronstadt manages to capture this bittersweet sensation perfectly in Long, Long Time.
Time washes clean. Love swoons.
It's a masterclass in dynamics. She has the ability to quickly fluctuate between softer spoken lines and louder belting.
Thinking back, tears.
It takes a well-practiced vocalist to be able to pull off such an effortless switch, and she does it so well that she makes it seem easy. Except it's far from simple. It's just that Ronstadt has a powerful voice, which is particularly apparent after the final refrain. She sings a series of deceptively simple-seeming notes, and while they aren't the hardest to reach, one needs major skill to pull them off without sounding uncomfortable.
I'm gonna love you. Long time.
Number 28, Bang Bang, Jessie J, Ariana Grande, and Nicki Minaj. Trying to emulate one powerhouse is tough enough. Having to mimic three is a feat like no other. Bang Bang may just seem like a fun summer bop, but there are actually several layers of complex vocals. Each star brings their own unique style to the song. Between Jessie J's commanding voice, Grande's effortless belting, and Minaj's signature flow, every aspect of it is tailored to show off their artistry. They could have easily overpowered each other, but they complement one another instead. This type of restraint isn't easy, and goes to show how much work they've put into their technique. Thus, Bang Bang is a surprisingly elaborate hit that's difficult to master in all its glory. But that doesn't mean it isn't fun to try. Number 27, Bring Me to Life, Evanescence.
How can you see into my eyes?
You may think their ballads would be the hardest to pull off, but that distinction goes to their debut single. Bring Me to Life not only put Evanescence on the map, it also gave their lead singer Amy Lee the perfect opportunity to showcase her stylistic range. She starts off with a lighter sound during the verses, and then switches to a more powerful tone as soon as the chorus kicks in, without sounding strained at all.
Wake me up and say, call my name and save me from the dark.
The notes come in at a difficult place, requiring the performer to slip into their head voice while still relying on their lower register for support. While some can pull it off, no one can hit those nuances quite like Amy Lee, especially not a beginner. Number 26, Over the Rainbow, Judy Garland.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
It's hard to believe she was only a teenager when she first started performing this iconic piece, originally written for The Wizard of Oz. Judy Garland wowed audiences across the globe with her performance of the hopeful yet melancholic Over the Rainbow.
Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me.
It's a wistful number, all about how Dorothy wishes she could be anywhere other than home. The forlornness in the delivery is where the real complexity comes in. Without it, the number loses most of its magic. While other musicians have taken on the challenge and done a serviceable job, none have been able to come close to Garland's original interpretation.
Why, oh, why can't
Number 25, Since You've Been Gone, Kelly Clarkson. After winning the premiere season of American Idol, Clarkson proved she was a star time and again. Her second studio album gave us this instant classic, one that has been imitated both in real life and on screen.
But since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time.
Her anger is palpable during the track, particularly during the bridge and final hook. Her voice is filled with intensity, delivering each word with scathing fury. That, coupled with her impressive upper range, makes this one of the most technically demanding pop bangers to reach the charts.
Shut your mouth, I just can't take it. Again and again and again and again.
The end is by far the most impressive part, as the singer maintains a perfectly controlled tone that never falters. It's clear to see why this was the audition song in Pitch Perfect. It's perfect for testing one's prowess.
Since you've been gone,
Hi.
I can't breathe for the first time.
Jesus.
Number 24, All I Wanted, Paramore.
Look at me when you're out there.
There are plenty of numbers by the band that highlight Hayley Williams' exquisite vocals, but none have quite the same effect as this one. All I Wanted starts out as a classic Paramore tune, only for the gears to switch once the chorus starts.
All I wanted was you.
Williams flawlessly reaches those higher tones without it sounding forced. That's much easier said than done for the rest of us. She belts them out like it's second nature, effectively communicating the sentiment of the piece through her voice alone. It's undoubtedly ambitious, especially the extended note near the end. The music temporarily cutting out puts her raw talent at the forefront, creating the perfect musical climax that not just anyone can pull off.
All I wanted was you.
Number 23, Stone Cold, Demi Lovato. Already proving to be one of the best of their Disney Channel cohorts, Lovato showed just how versatile they are on this heart-wrenching single. Nailing Stone Cold requires a ton of impressive skill, including transitioning between octaves like it's nothing.
Stone cold, baby. God knows I try to feel.
Lovato pours every ounce of feeling into it, creating a modern-day soul number. Plus, the fact that the instrumental is relatively stripped back means there's nowhere to hide, making the final product a true testament to their vocal ability.
Give me the truth. Me and my heart will make it through.
While hitting the notes is hard enough, the breath control Lovato utilizes to properly support them also can't be understated. Needless to say, an amateur would need some serious practice and then some before covering this powerful ballad.
I'm happy for you. Know that I am.
Number 22, Defying Gravity, Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. Wicked is one of the most famous musicals of the 21st century, and for good reason. It has a litany of unforgettable numbers. One of the most beloved and complicated songs, of course, is Defying Gravity, which Elphaba sings, joined in some spots by Glinda and the chorus, as she embraces her true power.
I hope you're happy in the end.
This arc is evidenced by her dynamics and cadence gradually increasing, eventually culminating in that seemingly insurmountable riff. It's also the final moment before the end of the first act, meaning it requires some serious acting ability to pull off.
I'm flying high, defying gravity.
Countless people have taken on the piece, but it's a challenge for anyone to execute well. While some have done it justice, Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel's rendition remains the blueprint.
Wizard that there is or was is ever gonna bring me down.
Number 21. You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, Artha Franklin. Artha Franklin's voice was 1 in a million, which is why it's so hard to perfectly nail one of her tracks.
And if I make you happy, do I need to do more?
One of her most complex by far is You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, a ballad expressing how a lover makes the narrator feel down to her core. Franklin effortlessly shows off her vocal range throughout, ranging from rich lower tones to gorgeous, lilting higher notes.
You make me feel like a natural woman.
It isn't a song for the faint of heart, as reaching those without being pitchy is nearly impossible. The self-control needed to pull the technique off while maintaining that passionate, joyful sound is something that only experts have, making this one of the most intricate songs ever.
I wanna get next to you. You make me feel so alive.
Number 20. My All, Mariah Carey. As soon as those sultry guitars come in, you know you're in for a performance. Mariah Carey is one of the greatest vocal performers we have, and on the 5th single from her album Butterfly, she proved it again.
I can't go on living in the memory of a song.
Carey starts off quietly on this sexy, passionate song, content to show off her melisma skills, and affords us soft runs all over the place. In the second and third choruses, her voice grows stronger as she lets out those high notes.
I give my all to her. Just one more night with you.
But as any good singer should, Carey never loses control, effortlessly switching between her belt and her head voice.
I give my all for your love tonight.
Number 19. My Heart Will Go On, Celine Dion. 1997 didn't just give us James Cameron's masterpiece of a film. It also brought us one of the best songs ever written and performed with it. A song that would be sung at karaoke until the end of time.
Near, far, wherever you are.
Still, it might be best to leave this one to the pros. Not only because My Heart Will Go On is sung by the incomparable Celine Dion, but also because it's incredibly difficult to get just right.
Once more, you open the door.
Dion captures the emotion of the love ballad in a way no one else can with her effortless control. Her voice grows steadily stronger as the music progresses, before completely exploding at the end, attacking those high notes perfectly.
My heart will go on and on.
Number 18. How Can I Ease the Pain, Lisa Fischer. Here's one of the most impossible to nail slow jams of all time. Seriously, we don't know how Lisa Fischer does it. She's a goddess.
I feel your fire, then I lose my self-control.
It was released in 1991 and remains one of Fischer's biggest hits to this day. Fischer manages to stretch her notes like no other, and listening to her attain those high notes so flawlessly makes us wish she got more opportunities like this to show off her chops.
Give me all or nothing at all.
How Can I Ease the Pain requires an incredibly strong belter to get up into that high register, while still pouring passion into the words. And once Fischer lets loose on those whistle tones, please. Number 17, Unbreak My Heart, Toni Braxton.
Don't leave me in all this pain. Don't leave me out in the rain.
It's not just the high notes that can be difficult to hit. The opening of Unbreak My Heart doesn't necessarily make you feel like the song's going to be that hard to sing. But then you hear the incredible range of Toni Braxton. From that first verse, Braxton's smoky vocals follow through the lower notes of her register with incredible strength and power. On top of that, her talent only shines stronger on the second verse, when she shows us all how low she can go while still maintaining precise control over her stellar runs.
I can't forget the day you left. Time is so unkind.
Number 16, Total Eclipse of the Heart, Bonnie Tyler.
Every now and then I get a little bit restless and I dream of something wild.
The rock ballad is one of the best subgenres music has given us over the years. And Total Eclipse of the Heart is rock ballad execution at its finest. This song not only requires melodramatic rock and roll passion at a high level, but tremendous breath support as well.
We're living in a powder keg and giving off balls. I really need you tonight.
Bonnie Tyler stays up in that higher register for most of it, and not for nothing, those verses and choruses have a lot of words. With so much movement and not a ton of time to breathe, Total Eclipse of the Heart is certainly one of the most impressive ballads of its kind.
Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
Number 15, Imagine, Ariana Grande. Oh, you wanted more whistle tones in modern pop music? Well, Ariana Grande heard you, and she delivered.
This is a pleasure, feel like we never act this regular.
It's no secret that Grande is an expert singer, but with her hit Imagine, she went further than we could have imagined. The song's chorus requires the singer to make a large vocal leap on the word imagine, and necessitates pinpoint precision in its notes.
Imagine a world like that.
But all that aside, if you want to sound like Grande when you sing this song, you've got to try and go for those whistle tones at the end. Definitely not an easy task. Number 14, Rolling in the Deep, Adele.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark.
Rolling in the Deep was the song that first brought English singer Adele to international stardom, and for good reason. Written in response to a heated breakup she once had, the lyrics tell a personal story. It's a song about a lover telling her ex that he is too foolish to see how much he could have had with her.
We could have had it all.
It's an angry, passionate tune. There are no whispers of despair in this brassy number, and only a strong singer with both low and high range vocal power can pull it off. Adele beautifully communicates the anger in the track without sacrificing the purity of her sound.
But you played it, you played it, you played it, you played it to the beat.
Number 13, And I Am Telling You I'm Not Going, Jennifer Holliday. When Jennifer Holliday originated the role of Effie White in Dreamgirls on Broadway in 1981, this number brought down the house. Holliday won a Tony Award and was set on the path to pop and R&B fame. This song takes place after a stormy scene where Effie finds out she's been thrown out of her singing group. She adamantly insists to the manager that she's staying no matter what because she loves him. Strong, high belting, and convincing drama are essential to the musical number, which makes it effective only when sung by a very talented singer and actress. And this isn't the only difficult song from Dreamgirls. I Am Changing definitely strains our vocal cords a bit. Number 12, Lovin' You, Minnie Riperton.
And loving you, I see your soul come shine.
Though she performed with Stevie Wonder and Rotary Connection, Minnie Riperton spent most of her career struggling to be noticed. She died tragically young, succumbing to cancer when she was only 31 years old. However, she did have one smash hit single, and this is it. Lovin' You is a soothing, repetitive track, seemingly simple but by no means easy to pull off. Some notes are so high, they've been mistaken for bird whistles.
Loving you is just a dream.
There actually are some bird twitters in the background, but those sweet fluting notes are all Riperton, who makes them sound amazingly effortless.
La 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 la.
Number 11, Don't Rain on My Parade, Barbra Streisand. Notoriously difficult, Don't Rain on My Parade is from the musical Funny Girl, which was based on the life of Fanny Brice.
If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade?
Barbra Streisand, who played the lead role on Broadway in 1964 and won an Oscar for her performance in the movie adaptation, makes it sound quite natural. However, the song's tricky rhythms, frequent leaps, and consistent high energy have daunted many aspiring vocalists.
One roll for the whole shebang. One throw, that bell will go clang.
Although a few professionals like B. Arthur and Idina Menzel have covered the song, the musical wasn't revived on Broadway for decades, possibly because of the challenge of finding someone for that dynamic leading role. That changed in 2022, however, with the revival that eventually cast Lea Michele as Fanny. Number 10, Withering Heights, Kate Bush. Inspired by Emily Bronte's tale of tempestuous romance, the song Withering Heights focuses on the part of the story where Catherine's ghost returns to Heathcliff after many years of anger and misunderstanding in life.
Could you leave me when I needed to possess you?
The song took the world by storm in 1978, topping charts throughout the UK. Kate Bush has a style that is extremely difficult to imitate, and while her voice sounds natural and sweet in the single's high falsetto runs, they are extremely difficult for most singers to achieve. And as if that weren't enough, the backing track gives almost no support, as many karaoke performers have discovered to their dismay. And just in case you were thinking about it, no, we wouldn't try Running Up That Hill either. Number 9, I Have Nothing, Whitney Houston. The Bodyguard, the 1992 movie that stars Whitney Houston as a famous singer and Kevin Costner as her, well, titular bodyguard, is somewhat of a cheesy mess. But that soundtrack is definitely the silver lining.
I'm holding back again. This passion inside, I can't run from myself. There's nowhere to hide.
I Have Nothing is but one of the amazing singles that came from The Bodyguard, and also one of the toughest in Whitney Houston's roster. The song requires incredible force and resonance, particularly when it hits the chorus. We don't know about you, but we can't imagine anyone other than Houston giving this one the passion it deserves. Number 8, Vision of Love, Mariah Carey. It seems too far out of reach to picture a time when Mariah Carey wasn't popping off in her whistle register. Turns out this time was actually before 1990.
It took so long, still I believe.
The release of Vision of Love was actually the first time audiences would hear Carey hit those tones. And it was incredible. Still, the whistle notes are not the only thing that makes Vision of Love so impressive. It requires a singer with an incredible depth of range, downright insane breath control, and the ability to transition vocally without a hitch.
Oh, that you turned out to be.
Number 7. Listen, Beyoncé. While this song is also technically from Dreamgirls, it did not appear in the original musical. It was specially written for the 2006 movie adaptation.
Oh, 'cause you won't listen.
Listen is sung by a character who has felt stifled and uncertain throughout, until she finally breaks out in this show-stopping number and demands that people listen to what she has to say.
I followed the voice you gave to me.
It's a fierce and dynamic tour de force, with big leaps, florid riffs, and long runs that require a strong, powerful voice to perform well. Beyoncé does an amazing job of keeping up the passion and volume without sacrificing any of that gorgeous flexibility. Number 6. Chandelier, Sia. Sia has made a successful career writing songs for other singers, and originally, she intended Chandelier to be sung by Rihanna, with some sources also adding Beyoncé. But as she crafted the track, she realized it was one she needed to sing herself.
Good time, girl, phone's blowing up, ringing my doorbell. I feel the love, I feel the love.
Although it is somewhat gritty and raw, describing the effects of hard partying and addiction, Chandelier still requires an accomplished singer, from low, rapid mutters to high leaps and strong held notes. It's a wild ride. Sia's voice blends pain and lyricism in a way that makes this song uniquely hers. And because of both her talents and her personal connection with the song, it's doubtful whether anyone else could perform it so effectively. Number 5. Hurt, Christina Aguilera.
If I had just one more day, I would tell you how much that I missed you.
Christina Aguilera is one of the most prolific singers in Hollywood. Unfortunately, one of her greatest, most difficult songs to sing is not one of her most famous.
Would you tell me I was wrong? Would you help me understand?
Hurt is a number from Aguilera's 2006 album Back to Basics. It sort of got buried under the pizzazz of the rest of the track list, which includes the likes of Ain't No Other Man and Candyman. However, in Hurt, Aguilera slows things down and delivers a masterful performance with incredible range. The chorus necessitates a kind of emotion and resonance that is rare to come by.
I'm sorry for blaming you.
Number 4. All by Myself, Celine Dion.
When I was young, I never needed anyone.
Celine Dion has won acclaim for many dramatic and challenging songs, but this one stretched even her impressive powers. A quiet, introspective beginning leads to a swelling key change, and finally, a passionate outpouring of sorrow that demands strong, sustained high notes relentlessly.
All by myself.
As with all deeply emotional pieces, the singer must be expressive without losing the beauty of the sound. Not an easy task at any time, but particularly hard when you're belting very high and very loud in front of a large audience. All by Myself has become one of Dion's most iconic songs, despite being a cover of an Eric Carmen original, and there's a good reason you rarely hear someone else attempt it. Number 3. Love on Top, Beyoncé. It's time to talk about key changes. Beyoncé's 2011 hit Love on Top is one of the pop diva's most fun songs.
Now everybody asks me why I'm smiling out from ear to ear.
From the outset, it doesn't seem like it will be particularly difficult to sing. Not more difficult than any other Beyoncé song anyway. But by the end, we've found ourselves with so many key changes, we don't even know how to begin counting them off.
Baby, you're the one that I love. Baby, you're all I need. You're the only one I see.
As Beyoncé's voice keeps getting higher and higher, our jaws keep dropping lower to the ground. It's insanely impressive how high up she can get, never mind the absolute clarity with which she does.
Baby, you're the one that gets us all. You're the one that always calls.
Number 2, I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston had a voice unlike anyone else's.
And I wish you joy and happiness.
She won fame singing not just original songs, but covers and classics that had been done 100 times, like the Star-Spangled Banner. However, this tune, originally written and recorded by Dolly Parton, is probably Houston's most famous.
We'll always love you.
The stamina and versatility required to sing I Will Always Love You are just the beginning. Because of the single's wide range of notes and dynamics, the singer must be able to adopt many different vocal characters, from sweetly quiet to powerfully low, and finally to triumphantly but gorgeously high.
And I will always love you.
Or at least, that's the way Houston sang it, and nearly everyone else has been too daunted to tackle it since.
Darling, I love you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Emotions, Mariah Carey. Many of our audience members probably guessed that a vocal performance by Mariah Carey was coming. They just didn't know which.
I feel good. I feel nice. I've never felt so satisfied.
Like Whitney Houston, Carey seems to be capable of performing vocal feats that are beyond those of regular mortals, and this one is a perfect example. Emotions is an upbeat R&B post-disco hit with no room for rest. One cannot help but wonder at Carey's constant high-energy belting, seemingly effortless runs, and of course, those incredible high notes soaring up into the stratosphere. A good operatic soprano could probably hit them, but rarely are notes so high heard with such pure and beautiful clarity. It all adds up to make this a fitting choice for our top most difficult song. Which song by a female artist do you think would be the hardest to tackle? Let us know in the comments.
We shoot the paparazzi for a big surprise.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.